Hi YouTube, Seraphin here again, ready for another Ocarina video. I'm also just really excited that we're having a real fall day. Like, it's not fake fall, it's cold. I had a blanket, I was snuggling earlier. It's great. So, exciting times. Now, because it's actually fall, there's wind blowing, wind, air, ha! So, that's my transition. I'm going to be demoing another one of my ocarinas, another Element Ocarina. I'll be demoing the Air Ocarina. This guy is our smallest one in the series. It's a soprano C 12 hole. That does mean it is very, very high. I'm actually slightly concerned with the video because, as you know, I upload them immediately after I do them on my laptop, so I don't have like a super fancy camera or mic. It might get blown out a little bit because of how high-pitched it is and because of how strong a tone it is. So while it might not translate perfectly over video, that does, like, it's really, really clear to the point where I actually don't often play it in my apartment because it's quite small. But it's also like the middle of the day right now and nobody's around, so I don't think I'm going to bother anybody. I usually go out and play on my balcony, but I do that with most of my sopranos. Anyway, so talking about this guy, where I was at with this one. This was another one of the more difficult ones. It took a bit to figure out the design aesthetic of it. I would say I played around with it a lot. I did have a couple other designs, but nothing strong enough that I feel like I wouldn't even really talk about them. They were just like doodles, like eh. It would have been really easy to make basically another water-looking one, and a lot of people have thought that the water ocarina was air because of kind of the gustiness of it. And for me, I definitely could not do the same thing. My personal opinion of the way the elements are is, since we had water and ice, water is very soft, ice is very sharp. Air is somewhere in between that. I feel almost more on the sharp end. It's a bit more direct. I think it's a bit more aggressive, if not necessarily as powerful. When I think wind, when I think air, I don't think of a passive thing. Not that water is, but it's a bit smoother where I fear air is not. So that is how I was thinking. So the shape of it was in like relation to that. It's actually meant to be like a pinwheel. So each of these are the blades. Most pinwheels do have at least 4 blades, but ocarinas don't really have 4 appendages. So we reduced it to 3, and each one is hooked around the same way to give that flow. The other thing a lot of people have kind of criticized me on is the color once again. The reason I chose green for this, I did actually have another color scheme initially. It was white, yellow, and orange, and I did have a model of it. I think I have since given it away. It looks exactly the same, just different colors. And the reason that we didn't go with that one is it actually, I didn't read air for me, for one. Like, the colors were a bit too primary looking. They were very paint by numbers, which I didn't enjoy. It also looked very much like the Melody Ocarina, the Lugia one, which was coming out near the same time as this one. And that one, you can't change the colors. That's what it was. So I definitely didn't want to do that. The reason I had chosen those colors first was actually they were fall colors, more air-based, and the traditional elemental color of air is yellow. I did not decide that. That is just generally what the color is. So since I was doing such a video game-centric inspiration with all of the ocarinas, I did look at what air and wind magic generally is in video games. And there are a few yellows, but actually more often than not, it's green. And most of the magics that I took from were actually from the Tales series, where air magic is definitely green. So that's why I chose this here. Yeah, so that is the reason for the green color. I still think green is a good air color anyway. A lot of people have said gray and light blue, but again, that would have made it another water. And what other color would I do water then, you know? So that is the main reasons for this. So for this one, I had chosen a song a while ago and that I knew I had to play. I didn't know what ocarina I was going to do it on though, and I've since discovered it is beautiful on the air. It's very like piccolo-y, very nautical sounding, which I also think kind of fits with the wind theme going on here. It is from one of my favorite games from my childhood, the Monkey Island games. I actually watched my mom play the original Secret of Monkey Island on floppy disk when I was like a munchkin. My personal favorite one is Curse of Monkey Island, which is when it wasn't made by the same creator anymore. That's also why I'm wearing the shirt of LeChuck, who is the zombie pirate villain of Monkey Island. That's the reason I wore this today. But this game is hilarious. It's a point and click kind of pirate parody adventure. And like I said, my favorite's Curse of Monkey Island, where you get to do insult sword fighting, which they all basically have, but rhyming insult sword fighting on the ships, it's fantastic. I love it. I still play it probably at least once a year to this day because it's so funny. And I mean, we all kind of want to be Guybrush Threepwood, Mighty Pirate. So, without further ado, I will be playing the Monkey Island theme song. There we are. That was the Monkey Island theme song on the Air Element Ocarina from STL Ocarina. Please leave comments and suggestions and whatever down below. Have a conversation. It's awesome. And thank you very much for watching. See you soon.